Hi, this is Kristen again, and in this video I wanted to talk about a small topic that comes up quite a bit in therapy with all kinds of people, and this is going along the same theme of about can you change how you feel about yourself? And the topic I'm going to talk about is something that is very common in people who are struggling with a lot of anxiety and feeling stressed out all the time. And pretty much, if you're struggling with something like that, stress, anxiety, and there's a feeling of I feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I feel like I'm not doing something I should be doing, or I'm afraid that I am failing, or I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm not hustling and grinding enough. I'm not performing better than everybody else, and so therefore I'm going to fail, and therefore I'm very anxious about that. If you're having those kinds of feelings and thoughts, it would help if you were able to change how you see yourself and how you see life overall. So, for instance, if you had watched my video in this playlist, which will be above this video, I kind of talk about how it is that we come to have the beliefs we have. And these beliefs are the beliefs we have about life and how life works and how we fit into life and how we survive or how we gain whatever we need to gain to do well. And I pointed out that whatever we came to believe is quite luck of the draw sort of thing, arbitrary. Roll the dice. It really depends on where we were born, who our caretakers were, maybe what country we're in, the culture, and things like that. And so what that shows us is that who we are today is not necessarily something we need to continue to be. We could make changes to that personality. It's changeable because it's optional. If we start changing what we believe, then we will start to obviously feel differently and behave differently and do different things. So if we are going through life always feeling afraid of failure, or perhaps we have imposter syndrome. Perhaps we would identify as someone who is a perfectionist, that we realize that we are very keen on not only doing the best we can, but really having to be perfect, and mistakes aren't really allowable. And with that, usually or almost always comes a inner voice that is very punishing, critical, demanding, relentless. And it's something that we may have come to believe we need in order to continue to perform or achieve the things that we feel are very important for us to do, to maintain the image that we want to have out there as ourselves, because we have come to believe that that is where we derive our sense of perhaps positive appraisal from others, or our value, our worthiness, or being needed in the world. And that inner voice has become so normal to us, we may come to believe that we need to have that kind of whipping tormentor inside, because we may think, well, if I get rid of that, then I'll do nothing. That's something I've heard many times. And what that says to me is that this belief about, that, well, I need this nastiness inside, I need this self critical voice. What that tells me is the person began to really believe that at a very young age, because you can see the belief isn't just saying, oh, that's useful sometimes. No, it's saying, this is the thing that has caused me to be able to have what successes I have had. This is the thing I have that has made me do things. And if I don't do that, then I do nothing. It's a very black and white, all or nothing belief. And that's the type of belief a child would come up with, right? There's no nuance there, there's no subtlety. It's just all or nothing. I either am being mean to myself, or if I'm not, I'm going to fail, I'm going to be worthless, etc. So it's not true that you need this inner negative, critical, tormenting voice in order to, say, achieve something, attain a goal, master a skill. Not at all. You could come to a new belief that I'm recommending, okay, because it's very important that you not go through life feeling as though you have to earn your worthiness. It's important that you understand that if you are holding that belief, you need to identify it. You need to find out, am I holding the belief that I feel I earn what I am through service to others, through perfect grades, being deemed the best at what I do, making the most sales or whatever. If you feel like if you don't achieve the thing, you are then worthless, a loser, unlovable, etc., a failure, that is not actually a sound belief. It's not true. It's harming you. It is not serving you. It's not benefiting you. You may have, over the years, developed a belief like this because of your experiences, like I talked about in the other video, over time. And perhaps it got reinforced if you got positive feedback from your environment for perhaps overworking to do the best you could. That would give you the signal that, okay, I got the good feedback, so that means how I approached that was right. So this is, I'm going to go all out every single time until death, possibly. And that'll be worth it, because if I can get the perfect score, it's worth dying on the way. So that's not balanced, and it's also sort of like the wrong. It's like it's not the correct. Say, motivation. So let's pretend you're able to change the motivation. Okay, let's say you were able to feel differently about yourself. Okay, so we start there, changing what you believe about life and yourself. So let's say you woke up tomorrow, and because a fairy godmother came and visited you in the night and sprinkled magical fairy dust all over you on your bed, and you woke up tomorrow and you felt so delighted with yourself. You felt happy, you felt eager to live your day and do the things that you were already kind of doing in the middle of, or some goal that you had thought of. Maybe you didn't start it yet, whatever, but you're excited now. You feel good. You woke up and you didn't feel a sense of dread or stress or anxiety that you might fail, because that is not any longer how you think about yourself. That isn't how you feel. You just feel a alive and free to do whatever you want to do that day, and you set about your day. And now, let's say, oh, let's see, what could be some goal? Okay, say you're in medical school. Because, if someone's in law school or medical school or, professions like that, they tend to be, people who are, you know, having a perfectionism problem, right? So, say you're in medical school and you have a test coming up in a couple days, but you wake up and you're in this whole new, oddly freeing state of mind because of the fairy godmother who cast a spell on you. And you didn't remember feeling under pressure. You didn't remember feeling stressed about potential failure. You just know you have a test in a couple days. And you're excited because you want to do the best you can on that exam. So now, when you go to set up your studying for that, you're doing it in such a way that you have a positive feeling, that you feel excited because you know you're after this thing. You want a good grade. But see, you don't want a good grade because that will free you from being a failure and a loser. You want a good grade because you like to get good grades because it's fun and because you are eager to, do well, and you like to do well, and maybe you even are a little competitive, but it's not in a way of like putting yourself on a hierarchy of worthiness with others where you're really competing for like as if you could be better than someone else, but more just maybe the fun of it. Okay. It's a very different feeling. So then as you go into your study period, can you see how if you're not going in there with all this anxiety and pressure and stress and angst, that you're going in there with a positive outlook, and then you're going to study in a reasonable way that's very maybe methodical and very productive, and you take breaks when you need to because you know that's the best way to retain information, and you see there's a whole different feeling. And yet it can achieve the same goal, and it might actually achieve the goal a lot better because now you're over here with a positive regard of yourself. And don't you think that would give you more confidence? And if you have more confidence and you feel more empowered to be able to achieve things just because you're enjoying your life, because it's fun, don't you think you might get a better score than if you were the old self before the fairy godmother came and you went in there like a stress basket and drinking way too much coffee and sweating through your studying and staying up all night cramming because nothing's ever enough, right? So that's just one small example of how this could play out if you were to change how you feel about yourself and how you don't need the inner critical voice to push you through your goals. You could just trust yourself. You could try that. Trust, in other words, like if something's important to you, and you've been allowing the critical voice in your mind to torment you, I think that's evidence enough that you care about the goal enough that you're going to pursue it even without this nasty companion in your mind. Trust yourself that you have enough passion about the goal that you're headed there. You're headed there. And then maybe you could just enjoy the process of getting there. Because, what if, okay, you could fail the test. The person who woke up happy with themselves, say they didn't do so well on the test. And then they would be like, now I'm not happy with the score, but see, it doesn't affect how they feel about themselves. But what they're going to do is then figure out, okay, where did I go wrong? Can I do a retest? Or at least can I see what I got wrong so I can learn what that is? Because clearly I was confused about something, because they're still going after the goal that they want. And they're not then punishing themselves and going home crying and drinking half a bottle of wine because they got a B minus instead of an A plus plus. See, so even in failure or not attaining the goal, like right off the bat, it's okay. Okay. So I wanted to just bring that up, something to think about, in this realm of thinking about changing how you feel about yourself, because you can. And when you change how you feel about yourself and you start to feel deserving and worthy and in a real natural way, it will change everything else in your life. So I hope that's helpful and gets you thinking about it. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.